Hello, I'm Dr. Brad Hulsebus, chiropractor here in Rockford, Illinois. Welcome to my podcast here of Ask the Chiropractor. What's Ask the Chiropractor? Well, a lot of times people have questions about chiropractic care. They're not sure where to find the answers. And so I wanted to start a podcast where people can submit questions to me, a chiropractor, to find out the answers from a licensed chiropractor. All too often, you'll see information about chiropractic, and they'll ask you to check with your family doctor or somebody else before you come. Well, I'm here to break the news to you. Your family doctor doesn't know much about chiropractic, only the chiropractor does. So if you have a question about chiropractic you'd like me to answer, please feel free to send me a message, leave a post below, give the clinic an email at rockforddc.com. And I'd love to answer your question maybe here in a future episode. But today's question comes to us from somebody that was involved, unfortunately, in an auto accident where they were in their car and somebody hit them and they were not at fault. The other driver was at fault, and they wanted to know if they should get checked. They wanted to know if they get checked because it didn't feel that bad the next day. And of course, the insurance company calls you and says, "How you feeling?" You say, "Well, I'm feeling fine." And they want to move the case and move on. And I understand because the insurance company wants to clean off their desk and get things off of the front of them. But if you're involved in an auto accident, a lot of times people don't feel pain for several days later. And I tell most people that if you're involved in an auto accident, getting checked by the chiropractor is always a great idea. Now, here in my office, what we'll do is if you come in from an auto accident, first thing is we'll try to see whether or not you were injured. And how do we do that? Well, we take x-rays of your spine. And sometimes we'll even do x-rays where you look up and you look down, and we try to see if some of your vertebrae maybe aren't moving. They call that a flexion extension series. And we're able to take those x-rays, and then we put a piece of film up above them. We draw on the film, we draw the vertebrae out in the neutral position, and we have you look up and look down, and we'll see if two of them maybe aren't moving when you look up or when you look down. Because when you look up and down, all your vertebrae are supposed to be moving. So if we find that two are fixated, then we know you have an injury. We also do a battery of orthopedic tests where we have you, measure your range of motion, push on you, and check different things to see if it hurts. And these will also tell us if you're injured in an auto accident. And auto accidents are interesting because you got to understand that genetically speaking, we're all hunters and gatherers. So we've never been meant to get hit that hard or that much inertia force or anything like that. So you get involved in an auto accident, it can be very strange to our bodies. And sometimes we don't feel a discomfort for a few days. That's why coming in and getting those x-rays taken and doing that exam are huge to find out whether you have an injury. And the sad thing is some people don't come in and get checked because they feel fine. Then what happens is, it even happened this morning. I x-ray somebody and I see two of their vertebrae in their neck, the C5 and the C6 right down here in the base of your neck. And those are the ones that innervate your hands, but those are also the ones most commonly injured in a whiplash. And what we do is we x-ray them many, many years later, and we see that there's no degenerative changes or arthritic changes throughout the entire spine except for those two vertebrae. And then they look at me, you know what? I was in a car accident about 25 years ago. And I say, well, it looks like those might have healed wrong. And that's where you have the only spot in your spine that's showing age and wear and tear. And a lot of times that age, wear, and tear is irreversible. Now it's there. There's not much we can do except for try to make it a little slightly better compared to the healing potential of other places. So it's very important that you get checked to make sure you don't have any fixations. So let's say you come into the chiropractor and they do all these tests for you and they do all these exams for you. What happens next? So you have a positive finding. Now what do we do? Well, here in our office, we're friends with a lot of the orthopedic doctors and other doctors in the area. So if we feel the need to bring somebody else in, we will. But let's just say you don't need that. You just need a good chiropractic care. What we do is auto accidents are meant to help recover you from an auto accident, not fix lifetime of problems or bad posture and stuff like that. They're just meant to get you back to pre-accident condition. So in our office, what we do is we'll do 6 adjustments. We'll probably do maybe 3 times a week, maybe twice a week. We'll do 6 adjustments, 6 chiropractic visits. Then after that, we will do another exam. And we'll retest the things that were positive the first time. And we'll recheck your range of motions and stuff like that. And if all that comes back clear, then you're dismissed. Life goes on. But if they come back negative, or I should say come back positive, but they're still finding, then what we'll do is we'll set you up for another 6 adjustments and another exam at the end. And so by doing the regular exams, we know where you sit with the auto accident injuries. So in our office, our general rule of thumb is about every 6th visit, we'll do one. Now, other clinics might do it every 5th visit, every 10th visit. I don't know. But if you're under an auto accident, you should be getting reoccurring exams. Sometimes I'm given records from other clinics to look at from third parties. And I see that somebody went to the chiropractor 3 times a week for 6 months because they were involved in an auto accident. There's no exams or nothing. And that's not real chiropractic right there. That's somebody not treating the auto accident the way they should. Here in our office, what we'll do, like I said, we'll do the initial exams where we check those findings every 6 visits and see where you are. Now, once you've done those visits, let's say maybe you've done 3 cycles of 6 visits for 18 visits. Maybe you were parked in a car on a red light, waiting for the light to change, and somebody hit you going 100 miles per hour drunk. Maybe it takes 2 years of visits. I don't know. That's why we do the exams. A lot of times people call us up and they say, hey, I got in a car accident. How many times do I have to come in? Well, we don't know. That's why we do the exams. Now, obviously, the first time we do an exam, if your range of motion is really good, you only have 1 or 2 positive findings, and maybe we only find that your neck's fixated in one direction and not in both directions, so you probably don't need a lot. But if you were hit by somebody and your car flipped or something crazy happened, well, then you're probably going to need a lot more care than the average person would because of that. Or, the sad part is if you had something already, we've had patients that have had previous surgeries. We've even had a patient that was scheduled to have surgery and they got in accidents, and that complicates things and it prolongs it. So I took classes on whiplash. I took classes from Dr. Dan Murphy from Life University, where we studied the whiplash injuries and how injuries occur and the best ways to watch them and help them heal. The most common injuries is in the neck, of course, because that's the part that gets whipped around. Luckily today, our cars have really, really good seats and airbags and stuff like that. So a lot of the other injuries we don't see as much of, but there's reasons why you can injure your neck going back and forth, and you can actually have lower back pain from injuring your neck. Because when you look at a spinal cord itself, the outside diameter of the spinal cord is where the nerves go that innervate your lower back. And so if you whip your head back and forth really quick and violently, you can cause swelling around the spinal cord. And the spinal cord gets the widest width. It expands out at the C5, C6 area. And if you remember, I said that's the area, the most common whiplash area. So you have a spinal cord that comes down and makes a nice, kind of like a nice round thing, but right at 5 and 6, it expands, gets wider. The part that's wider is the most vulnerable for injury because it's wider, and it happens in the most common injury spot, the C5, C6 area. And this is the nerves that go into your lower back. So I've had patients whose lower back looks great. They pass all the orthopedic tests in the lower back. The x-rays look clear, but they have tremendous lower back pain, and we adjust their neck after a whiplash case. And as the neck gets better, their lower back pain goes away. It's pretty cool neurology stuff, if you like neurology stuff. But that's the kind of things that we're trained for to look at when you get injured in a car accident. And again, we work with other doctors and other physicians. So if you thought you needed to go somewhere else, or if you already went somewhere else, we're going to obtain those records and we can expand on that chiropractically speaking. And if you need to go to physical therapy, we continue the physical therapy. Most auto accidents don't require that much because unless you wait too long to get in, the longer you wait to get in, it also prolongs the care. So we've had people call us, hey, I just got hit by a car. I said, okay, are you okay? They said, yes. And they haven't even called the police yet. And they haven't even called the tow truck or nothing yet. They called us first. And, we could be their third or fourth call. We don't have to be your first call, but make sure you get in right away to get that spine checked and make sure we don't have injuries for too long. Because the longer they're there, the longer it takes to get rid of them. And if we do the exam and the x-rays and everything's clear, then congratulations, you got in a car accident and you did walk out unscathed, and that's amazing, and that's great. And I like to buy whatever car you were driving because it sounds like it's a good, safe car for my kids. But if you have any questions about this, or if you've been in an accident, you want to know whether that chiropractic care can help you, go ahead and reach out to us. Again, you can reach us at rockforddc.com. You can call the office at 815-398-3434, 815-398-3434. You can also text us there if you have a question. We're always here to help. We're always here to take care of you. And if you have a question you'd like to see next time on Ask the Chiropractor, go ahead and reach out to us and the same way and ask your question. And maybe next time you see this, hear this, I'll be asking your question. Until then, stay safe. Hope by talking about auto accidents, I don't put the jinx on anybody, but if it happens, we're here for you. That's why they call them accidents. Other than that, stay healthy, stay strong, and talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.